Hi, it's Sheridan here, Power Hour Training, live from my kitchen. Well, not live because the internet won't allow it. But what I wanted to do today is share something slightly different in the group, which is all about how to deliver practical bite-sized training with punch. And these guys arrived for me yesterday, and I absolutely love these, and I write these into so many of my training courses. It's just an innocuous little box. And inside that box, here's one I opened earlier, is a pack of cards. What's so amazing about that, you might think, apart from the fact that they've got my Keystone logo on them, which is pretty cool. Well, the fact is they're not a pack of cards, of course. The fact is they are picture cards. And they are one of the most versatile training tools I use. Not only that, they're small, they're light, they don't take up much space in your training kit, they don't intimidate people. If you're training in central city locations, you can pop them on the train. They just have so many plus points. So how do I use them? Well, the obvious way, I think, is to use them in icebreakers. So typically I will have a pack of cards between maybe 3 people, and I will ask people to just pick out a card that represents themselves, that they can use to introduce themselves to the group. So I will, I've got one there that's upside down. So for example, I would choose this one, which is a woman hiking in the countryside. I love being outdoors, I love walking, so that would be a great one for me to introduce myself to the group. You can also use them to gauge the feelings of the group. So you might say, how are you feeling today? And someone might say, oh, I'm feeling a little bit out of my depth. I'm feeling like I'm drowning. Someone may say, oh, I'm feeling a little bit curious about today. I don't quite know what to expect, but I'm hoping that it's going to be fun. So it's a great way to just get people talking in an easy way rather than just sort of putting them on the spot and expecting them to think of something. The other reason that I like them is it encourages even the quieter members of the group to talk, because they've got something to focus on and something to do. So searching through the cards, they're chatting through their colleagues. It's very much easier to talk about this picture, for example, than it is to talk about yourself if you're at the start of a training session and you don't necessarily know people. So it's a great way of including quieter members who may not otherwise want to contribute. So it's great as an icebreaker. I use them a lot to introduce topics as well. So I will ask people to work in groups, and for example, the course I've just written for my new client is I'm going to ask them in their groups to pick out 6 cards that represent great leadership. So again, that's a lovely little group discussion that we've got going on. They tend to spread all the cards out and they sort them out and they put them into piles, and this is how they go about it. And what you'll end up is that sometimes people come out with some of the same pictures, but they will assign different meanings to them, which always makes for a great conversation. So as well as sorting them out on tables, I mean, you can get people to put them into categories. If that's something that's going to help you can use them to group people. So everybody pick a card at random. If you've got a card that's scenery, go in that group. If you've got a card that's people, go in that group, so on and so forth. I have seen them actually use them to make acronyms. So they've chosen out cards that begin with the letters that they want to make an acronym. I've seen people use them to make collages. You can use them for action planning. So help people to really visualize where it is they want to be. So you pick out a card that represents where you are now, a card that is where you want to be, and then you can discuss how are you going to make that journey and get from one state to the other. So they are just, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most versatile and easy to use training materials that are appropriate for everyone in a room. So from the really outgoing people who've got loads to say to the quieter people. And it's just a really, really nice method, I think, of getting people engaged without pushing people too far out of their comfort zones. So my tip, picture cards, use them.